Hey soldiers, have I not been saying it?
I've been saying it for 10 damn years.
You have got to have multiple streams of income. Talk about how you set those up and how you may want to think about arranging other streams of income in just a moment. But first, let me give you more emphasis into why I'm always saying that. Layoffs are starting to accelerate. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, CEO, somebody recently said to me that Mark Zuckerberg looks like the guy in the zombie movies that's already been bitten, but he's trying to hide it from everybody else. That is so true. But anyway, Mark Zuckerberg said, realistically, this is a quote, realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here. Part of my hope is that by raising expectations and having more aggressive goals and just kind of turning up the heat a little bit, I think some of you might decide that this place isn't for you and that self-selection is okay with me. What a guy. He's all heart. But you know what? Seriously, he's doing what's best for his company. It is not Mark Zuckerberg's job to make sure that you can survive. No, he has entered into an arrangement with his employees whereby they trade their time and whatever expertise they have, or whatever skill they have that Facebook can use, they trade that for discounted dollars. And now he's saying, hey, needs of the business. We don't need a lot of these people anymore. So if you work at Facebook, you'd have to be crazy not to understand that what he's doing is what the leadership of the company is doing. They're going through and they're preparing for layoffs. Now, this is from NPR, National Public Radio. The dominoes are starting to fall in the U.S. economy. As the Federal Reserve pumps the brakes on the economy, many American companies are retrenching. There is a growing fear that as the central bank aggressively hikes interest rates to fight high inflation, it could tip the U.S. economy into a recession, and executives are cutting back. So here we are. We're at kind of a crossroads here, an intersection point. We've got high inflation, we've got interest rates going up, and we have a recession. Now, we do have a recession. Okay, the Atlanta Fed just came out and basically did the projection, and they said we've got a recession. No matter whether or not Karine Jean-Pierre over at the White House, Joe Biden, any of these other people want to acknowledge it or not, remember, the experts are lying to you. They've been lying to you ever since transitory inflation. We've done videos on that. All right, so you have got, you do not want to be in this position where you're sitting there at work and here comes your supervisor and she's got a pink slip in her hand and she stops at your desk and all kinds of thoughts now go through your head about how am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my car note? Kids' tuition? Food at the grocery store, it's higher than ever. So this is what we've got going on. At this inflection point. Again, we got the inflation, so prices are extremely expensive. We've got recession, which could mean layoffs, and of course, the interest rates are going to hike those credit card bills up. And if you're relying on credit to get you through a layoff situation, that's basically you're standing in a 6-foot hole with a shovel and you continue to dig. All right, so you need multiple streams of income. Now, what my wife and I have done, we used to be in the corporate world, and I tell you a story. My wife actually, way back in, I think it was 2002, she called me one day, and she said, hey, guess what? This was around lunchtime. I said, what? She said, they just laid my ass off. That's exactly how she put it. And I said, wow, really? Now, we were okay. We're not extravagant people. So what we did was she had always wanted to get into real estate. And so we said, hey, looks like now's the time. Why don't you go for it? She has, and the rest is history. My wife is a phenomenal businesswoman. I am sitting here in her office on our property, and I'm very proud of her because of the business she's built. We've also built a companion business in the financial services industry. I talk about that all the time. That's why we're here, Soldiers of Finance, right? And those two businesses complement one another. Now, if someone comes and they want to buy a house or they want to sell property or whatnot, of course, that is a natural segue into the financial services industry. It's like chocolate and peanut butter. You buy a house, you gotta be concerned about, your retirement after that. When you buy that house, finances are top of mind because it's such a serious commitment. Retirement, your health care. Can we insure our income? How do we grow our income? All of that stuff. That's what we also handle. So again, very symbiotic. And then if we have a client come in on the financial services side, one of the questions we ask them early on is, are you considering buying or selling real estate in the next 18 months? And some of them say yes. And if they say that, then naturally they go in a database that we market to, make them very aware of our real estate business. But we also educate them on financial moves that they may want to make now, since they are considering purchasing in the near future. So why do I say all that? I say it because if you're out there trying to establish another stream of income, what you need to do is you need to first make it something that you're passionate about. We love the businesses that we're in, okay? But it's not going to help, because we did have a trucking company. And man, that was work. That was a lot of work because we weren't passionate about it. We were left the company by one of my relatives, and we wanted to keep the company going because it had employees, all right? So eventually what we did is we sold the company. We sold the equipment. We sold the contracts that we had for the company. And one of our drivers actually bought some of that equipment. So we were able to keep people employed, because we lost sleep over that, man. We didn't want people to lose jobs. And the reason for that, we were a very small company. We were very connected to our people. Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't know you working for him. He's up there in the ivory tower. And fine, I'm not castigating him for that. He's built a phenomenal business. I mean, let's just be real about it. There's like a healthy percentage of the world's population that is on Facebook. That is phenomenal. That is commendable. But you have to think about a business that you're going to be passionate about, possibly even a business that your family can participate in. There are all kinds of tax advantages for that. You'll have to talk to your CPA. I should say, if you get into a business, you should then perfect that business to the extent you can. You're always going to be practicing. You're never going to be, all that you want to be in business. You're always just going to be a work in progress. But once you get comfortable with that, you should look for businesses that complement the industry that you're in. And if you can do that, then maybe you can have a spin-off business, or maybe you can get into a relationship with someone who has that complementary product, and you can get into some sort of referral relationship whereby you are also still deriving income from building relationships, basically. There are also franchises out there. Now, one thing you got to be careful of right now as we go into a recession is some of the franchises are expensive. And then even if they're not so expensive, people are going to have less disposable income. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I am saying you should do your due diligence and make sure it's something that you can maintain. Make sure it's something that the corporation, there have been many franchises who have just gone bust and left their owners in the lurch. So you should check that as well. There are a ton of businesses that you can look into to start, and many of them will also allow you to keep your job and just build that another stream of income off of that. Let's say your spouse maybe doesn't work. Maybe he or she can be instrumental in doing what's necessary to help build that multiple stream of income while you're working, and You put in some time, but they put in more. These are the things you're going to have to start thinking about if you want to thrive as we head toward 2030. Because let me tell you something. Although I would encourage you to think very seriously about who you're going to vote for in these upcoming elections, because I think if you look at your balance sheet, your wallet, your 401k, you would have to agree that the party in power is probably not good for those things. So as we move toward the new elections, what you've also got to realize is they can put a new person in power tomorrow, but it's going to take time to reverse all of these deleterious policies, these policies that are detrimental to our economy. It's going to take time to turn those around, okay? Inflation is not going to end overnight. At some point, I don't know when, inflation will moderate. I don't know how much inflation will decrease, if much of any. We might be stuck. Some economists think that we're looking at higher prices for the duration, okay? And if that's the case, then in fact, you need to act like that's the case. You need to behave as if these prices are never going to go down. That way, it will allow you to adjust and evolve into a situation where you're building assets, okay, like your own business, and you know that you need to have a certain amount of return in order to beat inflation. These people at Facebook, okay, they're not able to do that. They get one salary and that's it. And they probably have some performance-based measures as well. But how about you put some performance-based measures on yourself with your own business, where the revenue cap is, in the stratosphere. Facebook, the company you work for, unless it's your own company, is never going to be able to pay you what you're worth, okay? And also, this is another thing I like to repeat. You are not indispensable. When I worked in corporate America, a lot of people thought that they were indispensable. Verizon at the time was a company of 250,000 people. And a lot of people thought that Verizon just was going to fold up if they ever decided to get rid of this particular individual or that particular individual. People actually had that mindset. And I know that at this point, a lot of those people are gone. And guess what? Verizon's still getting up, still making money. So it's dangerous to have that mindset where you think that you're indispensable. You're not. All right. Now, you could be indispensable to your own company for a little while, but you want to even transition that into something that can operate without your day-to-day involvement. And if it's doing that, then that's going to increase your ability to make a lot of money, simply because you've only got so many hours in any day. If you can distribute that business, if you can leverage it across a wider platform of people or systems that are designed to make you more money, or both, then now you're talking, okay? And that's kind of what we've been able to do in these businesses that we have. We have arrangements with our brokers, and we've had for years, whereby if we recruit people, yeah, I said recruit people to the businesses, to the companies, then when they produce, we don't make any money if someone doesn't produce. You have to sell a product to a client in order for production to be realized and for revenue to be generated. There is nothing in it for us for just bringing people into the business. Nothing at all. Now, our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, EXP, allows us to bring in productive people. And again, when they produce, then we get a share of the company's money, EXP's, revenue. We had a previous arrangement with our former broker, Keller Williams, which was not revenue sharing, it was profit sharing. And loved that arrangement. We had a profit share tree at the end of the day before we left of about 236 people from all over the country. And every time they'd sell some real estate and generate money for Keller Williams, we wouldn't get anything from the agent, but we get a cut from Keller Williams' cut of the money. And guess what? Even though we're not there anymore, we're vested. So we still are able to make money from that, and we're not there. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about. You've got to have multiple streams of income. And if you want to talk about setting those up in either the real estate or the financial services industry, we're here to have that discussion with you, okay? So just contact us. You can go over to mcenow.com, and we've got a page on the website that says, start your business now, or something to that effect. I think we changed the tab, but you're a smart person. You'll figure it out. And go ahead and send us your information. We'd love to talk to you. But you got to do something, because if you just have that job, hey man, imagine you working at Facebook and you just heard Mark Zuckerberg say, hey, look, why don't you go ahead and opt out now? Otherwise, we might have to stop past your desk in a couple of months with a box and security, okay? Because you got to get up out of here. It's a real issue, and you're going to see more and more layoffs as we get further and further into the recession that we're already in. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.